How was your
Yes.
trip, by the way?
Oh God, it was wonderful and chaos and kind of so. Let me see, just to kind of go over everything as briefly as possible.
Sure.
Our rental vehicle, we got a 25 Tahoe, which was absolutely insane because we
That's
thought we were getting
crazy.
we thought we were getting a van,
Right.
so we got to pick it up. Like, yeah, we don't have any vans, so we're gonna give you that, and points to the Tahoe. And when we pulled in, I joked even. I was like, "Yeah, what if we get that? Ha ha ha!" Well, guess what? We got that.
That's
Absolute
awesome.
monstrosity of a vehicle. But yeah, our time frame actually ended up kicking up. It was we had everything booked ahead of time, and we were set. We were supposed to leave early morning on Monday and get there Monday evening. Well, it just so happens, like 2 days before, or whatever, the person who was hosting the Airbnb messaged us, say, "Hey, we had a last minute cancellation. This is up to you if you guys want to do this, but we can get you an extra day at a severely discounted rate." So you're like, well, we could maybe do it on Sunday. And after flipping and flopping some stuff around, we were able to leave on Sunday,
Oh,
which was cool. Granted, we left at like noon, so we didn't get down there and checked in until like 1:30 in the morning on
right.
Monday.
Right.
But I mean, basically, it made it so we didn't have to drive that one whole day. Unfortunately for me, like an hour before we got there, I realized that my bank card got compromised.
Oh
So
no.
yeah, my birthday morning was the first hour or so was calling PNC, getting that all squared, and then going to find a PNC bank that could print me a new card down in Myrtle Beach because I had to freeze everything.
Wow.
Basically, somebody hacked into my Starbucks account and bought a gift card.
Mm.
So yeah, and it was only 25 bucks. It wasn't the end of the world, but I caught it early enough. So I was like, okay, cool. So after dealing with all that, I did get to see a starfish that day. That was cool.
Oh, that's really
Um,
cool.
yeah, cause this is kind of dumb. I don't know. Like, I never thought starfish were like down there. I thought starfish were like exclusively in like California and Hawaii and
Right.
like
Right.
Florida. And meanwhile, this thing washes up on the shore. I'm like, holy shit, that's a starfish. So we're freaking out about that. Um, Outside of that, we didn't really do anything super crazy. I did end up bringing back, I intentionally over purchased pizza from like my favorite pizza place ever. Now, apparently, when we stayed there last year, there's this place called the Mariner that has just amazing pizza. It was
Mhm.
so good. We got it twice, and I brought a little bit of it home that we had left over, but I was like, that wasn't enough. It was only like 4 pieces. So we bought 5 pizzas that night and kind of nibbled on them throughout the course. We spent $130 on pizza from this place. However, I brought a pizza and a half home, and I have that frozen that I'm going to save for a rainy day. Um,
That's great. That's
let's
great.
see other quick things that happened. I was using my vape exploded in my mouth at one point, and I got to wander around barefoot landing, terrified that I was going to be just unpresentable in public.
The vape
Yes,
for the extracurricular
for
activities,
the
correct?
extracurricular activities.
Yes,
Yeah,
I
it
gotcha.
gunked up, broke loose, and I swallowed a chunk of it, and I tasted
Oh,
it for like an oh, it was terrible. But then I was
oh
like,
no.
wait a second, I've just ingested this in its purest form.
Oh,
What have I done?
what have I done?
Yeah,
What will I
but I mean,
be?
yeah, but outside of that, I mean, the trip was super great. We made sure that it was one of those trips that wasn't like, okay, on this day we have to do this, and this. Like, we had a broad, like, here are like 4 bullet points of the things that we want to do, and just make sure that we do them at some point or during the time that we were down there.
Right.
Um, so yeah, that was nice. But I'm also that same type of person that whenever it's time to come back from vacation, it's time to come back from vacation.
Yeah.
Like,
Yeah.
it was the night before we were going to come back because we left there at like 2 in the morning. We got up stupid early so we could be back at like a normal time here.
Mhm.
Um, but the night before, I basically like I made the announcement, I guess, and made the decision that the trip was officially over after dinner. So when we got back the night before, I went through and like cleaned and packed and everything, and me going overboard like normal.
I gotta have it to the point where like when we come back from a vacation, we have one more day. Like whatever the vacation is, one more day off. I have to have a day at my house by myself doing nothing because the vacation's always awesome, but it's always like exhausting in its own way, you know. And I want to have one day where I'm just in my pajamas all day, you know, not doing anything. That's what I want, you know. So like, I get it. I totally get it.
That was pretty much us yesterday.
Well, that's awesome, man. I'm glad you have fun and happy birthday again.
Thanks.
So, well, why don't we get started then? You giving us a nice bonus in the beginning of the thing. I don't even have to edit that. I could just cut out this little part and then go right into it. Boom, bonus.
Look at
that. All right, going in. Oh, where's my little paper? Where's my paper? There it is. Going in. 3, 2, 1.
Time to get your fix. It's a horrible gaming podcast. It's not good, it's not great. Horrible gaming podcast. It's not even what you would call fair. It's really not that good. Horrible Gaming Podcast.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen. My name is Zachariah Van Sliders with Old Man Gaming. You, for whatever reason, have decided to tune into another Horrible Gaming podcast, but I am not alone. Usually I am never alone. With me is...
aka Tiny Wizard.
And look at that. It's been, what, like 3 weeks, and I still got the intro down? Go me. Go me, right? Nailed it.
It's been a minute.
It has been a minute, guys. It has been a minute, but life gets in the way, and we already told you guys, just due to busy schedules and stuff, we're not gonna, and our sanity, we're not gonna try and, we're not forcing this anymore. It's gonna happen when it happens. I don't think I can definitively promise that it's never gonna go away, but neither one of us want it to go away anytime in the near future. So, It's not going away, it's just, it's not always gonna happen. And let's face it, gaming's been pretty depressing lately, which is what I talked about last week. I hope Neil does not mind that I ranted for about 40 minutes about the state of gaming last week.
No,
I think he actually listened to some of it, if I recall correctly.
I actually did end up finishing listening to the bulk of it afterwards, after I had said something to you about it.
You know my positions then. So we're going to talk a little bit more about that. We're going to do an extended fan traction because obviously you guys commented on quite a bit of that, and we'll kind of cover that and also get Neil's feelings because that is fair. I mean, I got the show to myself last week to rant about it. Neil should chime in, and hopefully I will be able to keep my mouth shut. And then we will go to a talking point. This is a little bit more fun. Neil has acquired himself a Steam Deck, so I'm very interested to hear his experiences with that. And then I am finally playing Absalom, and my review already came out, and it's, I mean, there's not, it's just going to be more of me saying it's the greatest game ever made. So we'll get back to all of that. But first we've got to thank the people who make this possible. Behind our ugly mugs, you're seeing a custom graphic that was provided by Mr. Mark Bell. We thank him for that. And of course, the theme song for this show and all the shows here at Old Man Gaming is provided by the man who makes the music, my brother Nick Van Sliders. We thank him for that. And we will be right back with Fan Traction.
Horrible Gaming Podcast.
Ladies and gentlemen, it brings us to our most important part of the show, our first segment, that's Fan Interaction. That's where we, the co-hosts, we talk to you guys, the fans, we read out your comments, and we respond to them. It's going to be a long Fan Interaction, even though we don't have a ton of comments, because I went crazy on Game Pass last week, and EA and everything else, and let's face it, I feel like I was warranted to go crazy on these things, and you guys wanted to chime in too. Also, Neil wasn't with me last week, so we want to give him a chance to weigh in on the situation, but we're going to start with a positive one. Well, kind of positive. William Hohen Happy birthday, Neil! Exclamation
Thanks.
point. Soon enough, you won't be a tiny wizard no more. You'll be a full-grown wizard.
Yeah.
When does that happen? 40?
I don't know. I'm 36 now, so I'm 4 away from 40.
I'm now 44, so fuck you. He then goes, on Sonic, I really was a Nintendo kid. Didn't have access to Sonic. No one I knew had a Sega or a Genesis or whatever. When I tried out some Sonic games later, it just wasn't my thing. Which is fair. I'm not saying Sonic is for everybody. It's just one of those things that you just expect everybody to have enough experience with to be able to rank their top 5, you know? And it's no problem that you didn't have it. It just surprised me that anybody hadn't had that much experience with it. He then continues, actually, Streets of Rage is a Final Fight ripoff. Came 2 years after Final Fight, but I get what you mean. Oh my god. Okay, we're going to just move on. On Game Pass, you'll soon realize you can buy a lot of games on sale for $300 a year. Fuck yes, you can. And I didn't even do that. That's a great point, the whole yearly amount. I get most of my games on PSN Network for $5 to $10. That's like 30 games a year. And yes, you'll play your games way more if you actually buy them instead of just downloading them from a service like Game Pass. Thanks for the show. Good luck on good luck on your Steam sale hunts. Hashtag pass on Game Pass. We're gonna get into all of this in a second, so I want to read the other comments before I let us off the leash. I do want to say right now, though, that I was already doing deep sale hunting on Steam. The Game Pass, really, I was down to just using it to do reviews for big AAA Xbox titles that were coming out, like Grounded and stuff like that. And then the only thing that I really lost, that I'm really sad, other than Grounded 2, was I lost access to No Man's Sky. I will have to actually purchase No Man's Sky. But yeah, just want to say that. But yeah, we'll get into the whole thing again in a second. Jason then chimes in, I would probably never have found my love of survivor builder games without Game Pass. Grounded, I played on Game Pass. Hell, State of Decay and Dead by Daylight, I only got into because they were on Game Pass. The first I downloaded on a whim, the later you got me addicted to buy only because it was on Game Pass. Yeah, that's true. Again, well, we'll get into it all. We'll get into it all at the end. I think it's better if we just save till the end. He then continues with another post. They drop the amount of points you get from stuff because they split it so that some of those points are exclusive to Premium and Ultimate. My Ultimate doesn't expire in November 11th, so I see these in the rewards panel. I'll get 5 points or for something, and then 15 more points for the same thing if I have Ultimate. This is true. There was also another Jason post, 100%, that is not showing, and I'm going to see if I can't make it show. I know because I read it already.
So weird that YouTube does that.
It's so weird. It's so weird. If I don't hit the right formula of search of my comments, I can't see it. And even then, sometimes they just remove posts for no reason. This was the other Jason one. They don't expect us to do anything. They don't care about us. They care about the millionaires who are deriding US for canceling our Game Pass because they will continue to pay whatever Microsoft asks for. It's the same as mobile games pursuing whales rather than caring about the model for normal people. Also, they just reported that Game Pass was making millions not too long before they did this, 100%. So they were just either lying then or lying now. And then finally he ends with a turtle power because my phone went off very audibly into the microphone. All right, I think it is only fair, since I got an entire podcast to talk about this, that we give Neil the floor. Take it away, sir. Your feelings on this whole situation.
So let's just break it up into two chunks. Primarily, well, mostly. Let's just actually just hang on the side of the Game Pass stuff. This was the single stupidest decision that they could have made.
Yeah.
The absolute single stupidest decision that they could have made. However, it is very obvious in how like anti everything that it is, these decisions that they've made. So yeah, they went through, sure, they threw everybody a bone, put game streaming and everything. Fine. That's going to be a part of their everything going forward. Everything's going to be streaming. You know, they've already tried to do the streaming only console. Cool, great, fine, whatever. I wouldn't call that an added value at all by having the older tiers. From there, they kind of, with the pricing structure, going from the basic game at live Game Pass, whatever the hell they're calling it anymore, from that to the next step up, I think is the one that shows the best value, question mark. But I would say that primarily in that it's purely that way because of how they decided to break everything up, with how it's like, oh, well, it's not going to be day and date, but it'll be like within a year, you'll get these games on this service. Cool, great, whatever. The problem with that is those are the folks who are going to be, if they didn't want it day and date, they were either going to wait for it to go on sale, or if they did want it day and date, they're just going to buy the game. That tier, I think it's what, $17, something like that. Yeah. And this, none of this is even including the PC Game Pass part of everything, because the PC Game Pass part of it, everything has still gotten, it's even more confusing now, I feel like, side by side. But then when you take a look at Ultimate going to $30 a month. First off, there's not a single streaming service that I have or service that I pay for that is over $30 a month. The only thing that comes super duper close to that is going to be my monitoring for my security system for my home. Outside of that, I'm not paying $30 a month for that. From there, it gets you everything that they've given you so far. You don't get added benefits when they throw you a reward system instead of a discount. Reward system instead of a discount screams to me, okay, we're starting to pare this stuff back, because they are very specifically targeting one type of person who's just an Xbox fanboy, which there are very, 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 very few of those left out there. My view on this, the timing and everything, is purely cynical. You take a look last year, whenever it comes down to Call of Duty. It comes down to freaking Call of Duty. The year before was the first time it launched day and date on Game Pass. They took a look at the sales numbers, and the sales numbers were dog shit when you take a look at the Xbox side of things. But when you look at like PC and PS5, the numbers were banging. That straight up and down says, people who have Game Pass, we're not making enough money on those people. I want to clarify something, because I feel like the conversation that we had separately about everything, I feel like I should clarify. It's not that they aren't making money; they're not making enough money for what they think everything is worth.
I wasn't trying to like shit on you either.
No. Yeah, no. I mean, there's a lot that gets lost in text messaging and messages and stuff like that. Yeah, because now you take a look at it. The majority of people, I don't know if you listen to this still, but just about every week I listen to the Next Gen Console Watch that IGN does, and the majority of folks who have any sort of Xbox service, they really only play 1 to 2 games. Like maybe a month, if that. Yeah. You're going to pay $30 a month for this service to get access to all of the games that you're really realistically only going to play a handful of. Yeah. The last 2 games that I actually played on Game Pass on my own were Doom Dark Ages, which I didn't even end up finishing, and Clair Obscur. Those are the only 2. And honestly, I've been to the point lately with all of my subscription services for games and stuff like that, that I just pay for 1 month and let it ride. And if it's something that we're going to do, even for when we do BG3L3, I go through and I just pay for the 1 month on PlayStation that I have to because of how we record everything and everything like that. I pay for the 1 month that I have to, and that's it. That's what I was doing with PC Game Pass. Pay for the whatever, because we're not really playing anything on it right now anyways, either for the show or just like Kayla and I or anything like that.
Right.
There's no need for it. So now we take a look too at the price increase for the PC Game Pass. I think the PC Game Pass is finally starting to realize that there's more quote unquote value on that PC side of things, but it doesn't change the fact that, if you're going to get these games, you have the service for these games. That's great. But everybody has a limited amount of time between the games that they offer and literally all the other games out there. Most people can really only juggle 2 to 3 at a time unless you are either sacrificing sleep or have a very unique circumstance that allows you to have that much time.
Yeah.
It is not worth it to me to pay $30 a month. It's not worth it to me to even pay the $17, $18 probably after tax now a month for PC Game Pass, when I know after 3 months of me paying for that service after tax, I basically can purchase the one game that I was going to be playing anyways and physically have it, or digitally have it, I guess, in my own library and play it without any sort of restriction or a reoccurring cost. They have basically turned around and done the exact thing that they said they swore up and down they weren't going to do. We're not going to, Game Pass the price is going to have to go up eventually, but it's going to be, it's not going to be that bad. It basically went up 3 times in the past 3 years and has doubled in price over the past 2, effectively, from where it started
months.
from.
14 months.
Yeah, that is absolute insanity. Absolute insanity when there's no additional value coming out. Okay, sure, we have a new Call of Duty game coming out. Fine. We have all these other like indie games and everything like that. You brought up a perfect point when you were going on about this, is it basically makes those games disposable. Unless it's something that really has its hooks in you and you really want to have like for yourself, you don't feel like you're wasting anything by having all. It's like going to a buffet and paying a buffet price when you know full well you're just going to be sitting there mowing down chicken tenders and fries. That's literally what it is. You have the 3 things that you want, the things that you're really there for, and that's really all you're going to do. Sure, are you going to pick up a dessert here? Are you going to pick up a different side here? Yeah, sure, to see how it tastes, but you want what you came there for. And that's where it's killing me. I mean, for shit's sake, like you had mentioned, the Xbox site crashed. People were trying to cancel so quickly. Mm-hmm. And here's the kicker. We have not heard anything about a course reversal on this after having the entire site crash from people trying to cancel. That tells me that they knew this was going to happen and that they're just going to let it go and people are just going to accept it. It's not even going to be worth that $30 when all the slam banger first party games that are supposed to come out next year from Microsoft still end up coming out. Fable, everything like that. I used to not buy the Microsoft games because I knew I would always have some form of Game Pass. That is not the case anymore. When a game comes out on the Microsoft platform, I don't care about Game Pass. I really don't play with very many people online, and if I do, it's on PC. So that's whatever. So I don't even care about that anymore. What is the point in subscribing to something like that at this point? Really and truly, like, it's not even a value-based thing. It's what is the actual point anymore?
You brought up one other point that I never really was able to fully articulate in my rant. I'm so glad you said it. And it is time versus the amount. So, like, I kind of stuck on it devalues the games, that whole thing. But something you pointed out right now that I really wanted to say and I couldn't find the words for it. When I pay for Netflix, which I feel we pay too much for Netflix, but my wife really likes the documentaries. But when I pay for Netflix, right? But even that, okay, I am watching hours of content on it. Okay, because there's tons of movies there, and those movies take 2 hours to complete, right? There's tons of shows there. They take a half an hour to an hour to complete each show. A video game takes tens, maybe hundreds of hours to complete, and maybe it never gets completed. Okay, if you look at the value of entertainment of the average gamer nowadays, right? It's not like it was where you like rented a game, you played it for a weekend, and then you never played it again. We're talking about like, if you look at my playing history, just my playing history over the last 3 months, I've played 3 games. I played Age of Wonders a ton. Then I played No Man's Sky an absolute ton. Now I'm playing Absalom. I played a couple of demos in there, but they're demos. Yes, if you look at it on paper, $30 for all these games. They added 45 games to Game Pass after I did my rant. But are you going to play 45 games in a month? Are you going to play 45 games in 2 months? Are you going to play 45 games in a year? No, you're not.
I'm not going to play 45 games in 5 years.
Yes, exactly.
10 years, maybe.
That is not how video games are consumed. Video games are consumed on a very one-for-one basis. It's one thing when you're at $15 and I can play a game for a full month and then play another game for a full month. Now we're talking value because I get that variety. But at the end of the day, when you're talking $30 a month, like 2 months, like even I'm going to say this out there to the Call of Duty people, even you Call of Duty people, okay? You pay, what is it, $70 now, right? That's 2.5 months, okay, of Game Pass, and you own it, and that's going to be the game you play. How many other games do you play? You know what I mean? Like, if you're only playing Call of Duty, what the fuck are you doing on Game Pass? I think that, like, that's the problem, is they want you to see this like value of these games, and since this announcement, they've been like, we're going to increase the value, and they just jam games into it. But that doesn't increase the value of a subscription service like this. It doesn't at all. It almost decreases it, because now there's too many options, and I can't even fucking play it. And I also want to say, and this was something I talked about a little bit in there, I don't feel like it's hammered home enough, but the cost of living on this planet has gone up 150%. All right, you raised all of the prices of all your systems. If you want to get a console right now for Xbox, it's what, like $900, $800, something like that.
Depending on
the ROG Giallo is $1,000. Yeah, the handheld is $1,000, and you know what? Tariffs, I can get that, okay? You can at least give me a reason that that's gone up. But if you're giving me that reason that that's gone up, and then you have this digital thing that is in no way, shape, or form affected by any fucking tariff out there, why isn't that going down? To offset the cost of us buying your consoles and your hardware. That's how that should be. It shouldn't be both raising. And again, no matter what you think your product is worth, at the end of the day, your product is a luxury item. It is something we do for fun. It is not something that we need to survive, such as air, food, drinks, like roof over our head. Video games are not that. They never will be that. We don't need that to survive, but you somehow want us to pick your shit over food at this point. And that's just not going to happen. I think this is a bad move, and I think that people are canceling, and I think that they are going to get hurt by this substantially. I do agree with Jason. I don't think they care about us in any way, shape, or form. I think they care about a bottom line. Somebody's told them this is the smart move and this is how they're doing things, and it's not a smart move in my opinion. But yeah, like again, I echo everything you said. I don't disagree with any of it. I'm glad that we're on the same page. And again, I wasn't trying to shit on you or drag your name for the moment when I said that. I was basically saying that's what they had said, and you had told me that's what they had said, kind of thing. You know?
Oh yeah, no, you're fine.
It wasn't like I thought you thought that. I think that like them giving that as an excuse is insensitive and stupid. At the end of the day, this service is not worth that price. It is not worth the $17 price on PC. And I'm going to tell you right now, if I was a console player, I would be enraged to think that to get the same thing that a PC player gets, not only do I have to pay, $13 extra a month to get that, but I also have to drop $800 on the console or the hardware itself. It's fucking insanity to me.
Yeah, I think with how they've been doing, this has been a long. I think it's more closer to the frog in the slowly boiling pot of water, but in this case, Microsoft is kind of the frog in this situation because they started with we have no games. So why are people going to sell are going to buy our consoles?
So they bought all the games.
So buy all the games. Okay, they bought all the games. They have all the games. Okay, well we have all these games now, but we need a way to really deliver some value on that. Okay, we're going to go ahead and build a service to where we combine all these games together and everything like that in this one spot where you can just pay a flat rate and just get them all. Okay, cool. But you still didn't have those first parties really coming through. And the ones that you did have come through, you have some that were supposed to be tentpole franchise things. Like I've already forgotten the name of the vampire game that we played. Yeah.
Oh,
literally.
Redfall. I can
Redfall
never forget that. It's one of my favorite all-time series to rewatch.
I remember the game. I just couldn't remember the name of it. But that's the thing. Is like it came out and it immediately faded into obscurity. All these first-party games. I mean, for shit's sake, we have Fable was supposed to come out in 22. It's now going into 26 that it's going to be coming out. So it's 4 years beyond when it was supposed to be done.
Yep.
So you have the games faucet is turning back off again. They're going to pay out all this licensing to put even more games into this Game Pass service, but they can't sell consoles. We already had the news article from earlier in the year that PlayStation 5 outsold the Xbox 2-1 because nobody wants to buy those consoles. And you say, you know what? Let's go ahead and do a handheld, an official Xbox gaming handheld. So they go through and they start developing all this, and that's what our future is going to be. And then lo and behold, oh my God, side by side, our operating system running on portable hardware compared to something like a Steam Deck gets decimated. Let's cancel the entire project. Well, this is what's hot right now. Oh, well, you know what? Let's just partner with somebody who runs our stuff anyway and call it a day. So now we have that Ally X and Ally just S, I think is what they're calling
that
it.
Don't
literally
play
X
native
and S.
Xbox games.
Don't play native Xbox games necessarily. And are way, way, way overpriced. Okay, well, you know what? Let's cut the cost of the other consoles that have already been out way up. I understand a slight increase, but I think the new Xbox Series X, the one that was supposed to be $600 with the 2 terabyte, is now something like 800 and something like that. Yeah. So $200 more on something that nobody was buying in the first place. So now we say, okay, we're going to increase the tentpole version of our service and further reduce the overall value of what we have here before. I want to know, because I don't think we're ever going to know this information, what the difference, like what the amount of people who have kicked their plan down from Ultimate to the lower tier or those who have canceled completely. Because I almost wonder if Microsoft was making a gamble that they were going to kick down to a lower tier to where they can just pay more for less overall, but instead people are canceling, or if that really came to pass.
Well, and it's crazy. Yeah, I saw a poll on IGN after this whole Xbox thing, and it was like, what Game Pass subscription service are you going to be on? And it was like Game Pass. It had like the 5 things, and the final one was like, no, thank you, I will buy my games. And I clicked on the no, thank you, I will buy my games. 69% of the people voting were no thank you, I'll buy my games.
That's
now,
a nice chunk of people who were going to be.
And I'm sure there's plenty of people up there who are posting that because they're mad that it's going up and they're not actually going to change it. But just think about the percentage of that percentage that is going to cancel it. You know what I mean? Like, they've got to be losing money off this. Like, I don't understand how they gain money off this, in my opinion. And I don't know. I don't really care about them anymore is my thing. I don't care whether they get money or lose money or gain money or nothing. I don't want anything to do with this service anymore. Like, it has outlived its usefulness and overstayed its welcome in my home. The only person that still has Game Pass in this house is my kid. And my kid actually might play 45 games in a year because she does play a ton of them and try a ton of them, and I want her to have access to that, but I'm not going to have access to that. That's not me. I'm going to walk away from it. I have no interest in this anymore. And as far as the EA thing goes, I have no interest in EA anymore. I have made it very known my thoughts on Saudi Arabia on this channel, on this podcast. I don't take any of those back. I never will. I don't like Saudi Arabia. I think it's a terrible place that does terrible things to its people. And and then it buys our entertainment to justify it and pretend that none of that shit is going on over there. No, thank you, Saudi Arabia. I want nothing to do with you. I want nothing to do with you to the point where one of my all-time favorite hobbies that you have now begun to buy, wrestling, I won't watch WWE anymore. If WrestleMania is going to be in Saudi Arabia, I'm not there. So EA, you're off my list. I'm boycotting all EA games. I don't want anything to do with any EA games going forward if you're going to be owned by Saudi Arabia. It's just absolutely ridiculous.
Yeah, that deal, from what I understand, is set to be closed by the end of next year.
You realize the amount of money they'd have to pay off every shareholder in that company, that openly traded major company, the amount of money they'd have to pay off to buy all of them out, because to take it private, it means they have to buy all the shareholders
every single shareholder out. Yep.
That's fucking nuts. That's nuts to do that. And let's face it, EA hasn't made a good game in maybe there's some sports people out there that think they're good. That's fine. But they haven't made a good game outside of that in 10 years?
The only things that they really have are the slowly dwindling, developers from other things, And now there's rumor that BioWare is getting shut down. No, BioWare is going to be gone. I think I'm going to call it right now. In fact, I have to remember this as one of my predictions, because I don't know if it's going to close in time or not. But if that deal closes in 2026, one of the first things we're going to hear about is the closure of BioWare.
Yeah, BioWare's out
I truly and honestly believe that it actually comes down to a guy I work with. Actually, he and I were texting about this not too long ago, and he and I basically were in agreement that it all comes down to how far along that new Bioshock Mass Effect game is. If it is far enough in development to say, we'll just shove it out and just call it a day and get what we can get off of the brand recognition of it and then close down BioWare. But outside of that, with what EA has done to BioWare, it makes BioWare look bad. So now, under new ownership, the first thing they're going to look at is things that are not doing well, which is through no fault of its own BioWare, which has been on a downward slope since the last Mass Effect, when they were forced to use that Frostbite engine back when we had Anthem and everything still kicking around. You couple that with, the fact that, we have just sports games, just the main, Madden, we have Sims. I'm sure that's going to be sticking around in perpetuity.
I can't wait for Riyadh to start showing up in those sports games too, as a playable arena or whatever, because that's going to happen. That's going to fucking happen.
It's going to happen.
All right. Well, enough doom and gloom. Let's stop this chatter here, unless you have anything else to say.
Nothing good.
And then let's go to our talking point. We're not going to do the news because all of our news would have had to deal with this anyway, and Neil's been on vacation.
Horrible Gaming Podcast.
Ladies and gentlemen, that brings us to what I guess is our talking point. Neil has procured himself a Steam Deck for his birthday, which is very exciting. I want to talk to him about that because it is I am officially envious of something Neil has, without a doubt. I also kind of want to just spend some more time talking about some fun stuff we're playing instead of all the doom and gloom in gaming right now. So let's talk about that. What do you want to talk about first, Steam Deck or Absalom?
Well, let's just quickly kick through the Steam Deck thing here.
Yeah, quickly.
Just well.
Quickly do anything. We never quickly do anything.
So the whole reason I got this, obviously, is I've been kicking around trying to get this thing for a minute. Mm-hmm. And they went on sale. The 256 gigabyte version of the Steam Deck went on sale was $320, normally $400 plus tax. So I figured that would be the time to jump in on it. So I, of course, did end up getting myself the LCD version.
Beautiful.
This thing is a beef. It is a beef. It's a little bit bigger than a Switch, heavier for sure.
Right.
Does have a decent amount of power behind it. I do have like a case and screen protector and everything on it here. But there's just so many little tiny things about it that I didn't like necessarily know or appreciate until I really got one. So first, just this is a small thing, but I don't know why this just speaks to the amount of thought that they put into this. They give you a case when you get it. So it comes with a little zip up case, but on the back of it, you'll notice there's this little banded area with a recess in it. You can actually take and wrap up the charger and pack the charger in with this too, and it keeps it in there all in one go.
Okay.
That is something I never would have thought would have been a thing, honestly. When it comes to the deck itself, there's a lot of good stuff. There's a couple things that I have some gripes with overall. First off, just having all of my games with me, basically, that I want to play at any given time is fantastic. Okay. It's one of those things that, I even still like, as funny as it is, I kind of forget that I have it as an option, because my whole life, whenever I wanted to play a game on Steam, I have to get up, go downstairs, go turn on my computer. I'm like, I want to play this thing. I can't do that right now because then I'm going to, pick myself up and go hide away in the basement. Not the case. I can just kick this thing on whenever. The battery life on it is a bit better than I was anticipating.
Okay.
I'd say I get about 3-ish hours depending on it. Doom Eternal is what I kind of use as a benchmark for it to see how well it runs a game. No hitching, nothing. The fan will kick on a little bit.
That's pretty impressive, honestly.
It runs pretty steady 60 frames the whole time. But it also helps me to kind of like play things more than I would have before, I guess. Because there's been games that I've just bought on Steam that I just buy because, on sale. And, who knows if I'm ever going to touch it. But now I have them all in one unified place that I can just pick them up and do stuff with them.
Right.
Now, there are some weird things when it comes to compatibility and some stuff I haven't quite figured out just yet. So like all of the games have a little icon on them as to whether or not they will play on Steam Deck. There'll be the check mark, which means it's perfectly fine. A little yellow icon, which means it'll kind of work with some finagling, or just straight up not compatible. There's just some stuff that doesn't make sense with that. So Street Fighter V is partially compatible with some finagling, but Street Fighter 4 is completely uncompatible with the Steam Deck. Older game, but works the same way. Completely uncompatible. Sonic Adventure 2, I never got to work. It'll boot the game, but it won't read any inputs. So from there is another way that you can go through and manually bind your keys to actions. Yeah. But that didn't seem to necessarily take, even though I went through the whole process to do it. So I have kind of steered away from some games that have that little exclamation mark next to them. That said, it's also got me started to play some other games like Cult of the Lamb. That came out a couple years ago, and I always wanted to play it. Wonderful game. Play
it. It looks great.
It's a procedurally generated game, which I did not know that was a thing.
It is.
And I am enjoying it so far. I'm not super deep into it, but
it's a procedurally generated roguelite cult building game, which is fucking exciting. Yeah.
But I mean, that's actually exclusively how I played Marvel Cosmic Invasion, the demo. So I went through a little bit on that. Overall, I mean, this thing is wonderful. I will say the one thing that I have noted that is kind of dangerous now is having the Steam Deck with direct access to the Steam store during a sale. Yeah, it's not great. It's not great. It's got it is pimping its wares. That is for sure. I will tell you that. Yeah, for the power and everything you get in this thing, like I played earlier, just to put it into context, I had a full charge. I played about half hour of Cosmic Invasion and about an hour or so of Cult of the Lamb. I'm still at 66% battery.
That's
with
awesome.
My brightness maxed out.
That's awesome.
Yeah, it's definitely one of those things that I was a little nervous because I get this. I have this thing to where I will regret purchases sometimes.
Yeah, I'm with
for
you.
Things that are for me. That said, this is one where I at no point, except for maybe when I made the initial purchase of it, was I actually nervous or like didn't want the thing.
Right.
It's just great. It's just great. It's wonderful.
That's awesome, man. I'm very envious of you. That is one piece of hardware that I want, but I can't justify buying. I just don't end up getting it.
So one thing I still have to get yet, because like there's little tiny things that I either forgot or didn't know. First off, I didn't realize that some Steam games do cloud saves.
They almost all of them do. Yeah,
phenomenal.
Mm-hmm.
I'm like, I'll have to start over on whatever I was playing. Everything
it's all
right back up. So it's like, Jesus, okay. From there, cool. I still have to buy it yet, but I have to get a dock. I can just get a dock and slap this on the TV upstairs.
Yep. Yeah, birds. How exciting is that?
That
is one of the biggest reasons I wanted it, so that I can play my Steam collection with my wife,
Yeah.
Yeah.
How crazy it is. Like I literally, like, as silly as this is, I still can't wrap my mind around the fact that I can just do that. Mm-hmm. Even though that's literally what the Nintendo Switch is.
Yeah. Yeah.
I have my Steam library that I can just plug into a TV and play on my TV too.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, it's pretty fucking awesome. It's pretty fucking awesome. Yeah, man, that thing is cool as hell. I am envious of you. I'm envious. How much did you pay for that one?
After tax, it was like $340.
Oh, that's not bad at all, man.
No, that's why, because I had routine.
I don't have $340, but that's not bad at all.
I had routine. Well, I didn't have $340 either. If it's but
compared to that $1,000 Xbox beast.
That's just like to put a little bit of a serious spin on it, just from what we were talking about before.
Yeah.
Like, I run Doom Eternal perfectly fine on this. I was playing that on our trip. I played Doom Eternal for about 2 hours straight, and I just got down to 50% on the battery. Like, that is excellent. That is excellent battery life. So, I mean, the performance and the power draw and the optimization and everything on that, it's just wonderful.
So you have that and a Switch 2, which a Switch 2 cost you at least $100 more, right?
Easily, yeah. Because I ended up
getting, it
was like $5.
Which one performs better, in your opinion?
Performance, that's the thing. You can't apples to apples those. because with
Feel
the
like I
Steam Deck, you do have to look at the like the compatibility of some of the games.
Yeah, that's true.
Because now one thing I do have to take a look at is if it's compatible with the deck or in what capacity it's going to be with the
Compatible.
deck. If I plan on playing it on the Steam Deck.
Right.
Everything with the Switch 2 just kind of works, but that's Nintendo inside of its own bubble.
Yes.
I would
yeah.
say side by side, overall, the Steam Deck for what it is and what you can do, cost comparison side by side, I would say the Steam Deck probably does win out just by a hair.
Yeah. I love hearing that. I love hearing that. That's so exciting to me. That's awesome. That's awesome, man. I have no further questions other than when do you leave the house so I could rob you? Yeah, man. All I've been playing is Absalom. We could talk a little bit about that if you want, or we can just go to the plugs. Absalom is the best game I think I may have ever played. My review went up today on it, probably just before we got on. I'm gonna say this: I have also had a curse, and it is games that I get really excited about tend to fail me on many levels. You know, this has happened my entire life with the TNA wrestling game, and then Skull and Bones a little bit, and then Mirthwood was another one that I was really excited about and just like did not do it for me at all. So this was another one that I was just like, I could not wait for this to come out. Like I was counting the days for this to come out. This is the game of my decade. Like, not my year, my decade. Like, this is the best 2D brawler ever made, without a doubt. Hands down, takes the cake. I've never seen a game do what it does in a 2D space. I just never have. Like, the narrative. Like, I knew it was going to be good play-wise because Streets of Rage 4 is fun to play. You know what I mean? Like, it's a really good comboing system. It's good fighting. Like, I knew that was going to happen. But, like, the narrative that they put forth in front of you is phenomenal. Like, the writing is phenomenal. I've never had a 2D brawler where I would, if we had an award for best writing, I would put it forth. Like, and it is on my list for best narrative at this point because of the way they tell it. And, like, I don't know. This game is just so good, Neil. It's so good. I cannot even begin to define how good this game is. IGN gave it a 7. Everybody else gave it like 9s and 10s or their highest awards or whatever. For whatever reason, IGN bashed it. I think the person that they put on IGN just like empirically didn't get it. But like, this game is made to want you to play it again and again. But like if you compare this to Hades, right, which is another famous roguelite, right? Mm-hmm. I got a little bored of Hades. I like Hades. I loved Hades. But it did get to a point where some of my runs were very samey. You know what I mean? I've played this game for 14 hours. I've beaten it. I have not once had a run that is carbon copy the same. Like, not once. There's always been some sort of weird narrative event or story event that has popped up that I hadn't seen before. They also like work in these side quests into this where you have to go to a certain area on the map, and the mapping, oh my god, Neil, the mapping is so good. Every roguelike should do this. Like, most roguelites, it's a point A to point B, right? And you don't know what you're going to get in each like room that you're fighting through or whatever, right? With this, there's this like branching map, and you're going to those areas, but those areas are procedurally generating in different ways every time, with the exception of a few rooms that are always there because of storyline events that you have to get to. So like, you're constantly moving through this different area and trying to get to certain areas to do certain things, to change the map, to gain companions, to change stuff overall, or just to get story beats that are so exciting. I have so like I don't want to ruin anything, so I'm going to try and tell this without spoilers, but there's 4 characters, right? You only get 2 in the beginning. You have to find the other 2, and it's told through the narrative, right? One of the characters, though, he's a certain character and he's from a certain land, and once you level his stuff up to the highest level, he gets a quest specific to him to become the king of that land. Like, that's so cool to me. Like, there's a reason to switch off your characters each time. Like, every 2 runs I switch off my character. Like, it's, I don't know. Do you have any questions? Because I'm just going to keep talking about how good this game is.
I was actually, as you were talking there, I pulled it up on the deck. Just to
it's only $20. It's like $22.
Yeah, it's actually
something like that.
Introductory offer right now. Yeah, 10% off.
Thank you, Steam.
Yeah, it looks nice. I love how it looks visually.
Yeah,
it's a very interesting, different take on everything when it comes to like the actual like roguelite and procedural generation, but it tells the story at the same time.
Oh, the narrative. I think this is. I think you should try this because this is this is a roguelike that would speak to you narratively. That I think the other thing that I absolutely love about this game is how much they thought they put into the world. Like, I want to do a TTRPG about the world of this game because that's how much lore you can soak up out of the game is just so interesting. Like the dwarves. Instead of just making run-of-the-mill dwarves, you find out that all the dwarves in the world are forged. They don't do it normally. They are all made by this one god this one god being called the Underking that actually forges them out of stone and then makes them into flesh. Like, there is these toad people, these frog people named the Mawais, who are frog people. So, oh man, I don't even know how to, like, there's just so much, like, oh, the goblins in the world are fucking awesome because there's tons of different types of goblins, and they explain, if you play enough, they explain why there's little normal looking goblins and orc looking goblins. And it's because, like, all the goblins come from, like, this tree deep in the woods, and they spawn out of water. They just, like, crawl out of water, and then they have, like, 1 year to live. And then most of them die, and the really strong ones figure out how to evolve, which is literally physically changing their entire body into, like, orc creations. So, like, it's a different way to present goblins. You know what I mean? There's all these swords and sorcery tropes in here that have a unique way to put them that I just didn't even think. I thought they're going to do swords and sorcery. Here's some goblins for you to beat up. But there's a reason for the goblins. There's a reason for the lizardmen. There's a reason for the gnolls that you fight. Like, they're all cool and different and interesting. And then I beat the game, which I was almost sad. Because I knew there was more stuff to do and I was going to do it, but just beating the game bummed me out a little bit. Because I found this build with this one character that was just like, God, I destroyed the game. And like, it was random chance, but it was absolute destruction. And I beat the bad guy. I beat him pretty easily, which I was happy with, but at the same time I was almost sad. I find out credits roll, that's halfway through the game. Halfway through the game, the whole thing changes, and then it's like, if you don't go back there and fight it, this other thing is going to happen, and it's going to destroy the world. Like, there's this whole extra twist to it that, like, forces you to kind of go through it again. And I know there's a lot of roguelites that do that, but, like, I was just so excited that, like, not only that, I beat the game. There's, like, 4 big bosses. There's a ton of little bosses, but there's 4, like, really big world bosses that you can fight. But you only have to fight 2 of them to get to the main big boy, right? I've never fought one of them. Never gotten to them. Like, every time I've gone to that area, I've died. So I went the other way, and that's how I got to them. I've never made it to the Midnight Queen, the Silver Queen yet. And, like, oh, that game is just so deep, man. I'm sorry. Talked about it too much.
I love those sorts of those sorts of twists like halfway through is
yeah.
like actually like, oh, you're not really at the end of the game. They did something kind of like that with Clair Obscur actually.
Yeah.
Too. It's the same thing.
That's awesome.
I love that sort of stuff because it does kind of trick you.
Yes.
It manipulates your emotions. Like, okay, this thing's done. I've completed the game, and then you go to shut it off and like, wait a second, and then there's more game.
Well, and you realize in this game too that you might not have been the good guys the whole time. You might have been the bad guys, and like that is even more exciting because you're just like, oh man. So like, this dude was evil, but he was doing it for a very specific world-saving sort of reason. So like, it's oh man, and then you find out that the person that you've been working for kind of caused it all. So like it's real like cool, but you discover that narratively through the storyline. Like I found myself, there's this part, because there's these little like respite parts where you can talk to characters. There's this one character who's a pirate queen and or the bandit queen. You can pay her $50 just to get lore out of her. And I'm gonna tell you, I paid every time. I paid every time just because I wanted this game to feed me world lore. Like I that's how excited I am to play it and get more stories out of it. It's so good. It's so good at that stuff.
Speaking of a sort of beat 'em up situation,
Sure.
Because we didn't really talk a whole heck of a lot about it, but just briefly, how are we feeling about Cosmic Invasion? I'm sure quite well.
Yes, I
From
liked
what I've
it.
played of it, it was quite well. Yeah.
I gave my thoughts in my preview. I think that here's my biggest downsides with that, right? Is I'm kind of spoiled on Absalom right now. So like there's a high fucking bar for it to meet. And B, the demo shows nothing other than the fighting and the characters. So like we don't see any of the campaign mode. We don't see any depth to the game. And like, man, this is tough. If I'm comparing Streets of Rage 4 to TMNT Shredder's Revenge, and I know that there's people out there that disagree with me because they comment about it on my page, but if I'm comparing them, Streets of Rage 4 is a deeper game. There's more depth to it. There's more things to unlock. There's more hidden secrets to find. There's more stuff like that. TMNT is pretty straightforward. Like there's a couple of secrets, but for the most part, you go through the levels, you beat the game, that's it. And the more times you do that, the more times your character kind of levels up. Whereas the other game, there's hidden moves to find, hidden characters to find, hidden characters to, you know what I mean? There's a lot more depth to Streets of Rage 4. Tribute is the people under .mu who made Turtles. They are making Cosmic Invasion. I want to see some depth out of this game. I want to see some like really interesting stat progression. I want to see a branching storyline and campaign, which they have actually promised. They've promised many times it's got like a branching campaign. I want to see some depth to this game. I am positive this game is going to be great. It's going to be fun. It's going to be on everybody's top 10 list. It's just, I want to see something really special other than just the tagging and the deep roster. Does that make sense?
Yeah. I will tell you personally, going through the combos are fantastic.
Fantastic.
You can Marvel vs. Capcom it, because there was a couple times that I've done that. In fact, I got into a flow earlier. It was Storm and the other one. Lavelle, I think was her name. Basically, is
Captain Marvel.
Yeah. I wasn't sure if that was actual Captain Marvel or like one of the other ones. But yeah, those two, like I got into such a freaking flow, man. You can go through, lay in some combos.
Yes.
Like you can blast them away and then throw a projectile to bounce them while you get in. Or when you throw that projectile to bounce them, you can swap your character out and then keep going through. Like that was fantastic for me.
I definitely feel like maybe I was overly critical in my earlier words. It is amazing. I really like how different the characters feel. Like in Shredder's Revenge, I felt like a lot of the characters felt a little samey. With this, they all work very mechanically different, and I loved that. I loved that. I love that Hulk, She-Hulk, just had the auto grab. That was her power, was she could just grab somebody and hurl them, period. I loved that. I loved that, like, Rocket always shoots a gun for his weak attack. You know, like, he's the most, like, ranged character there is. And then, of course, the flying characters and whatnot. But there was just so much, like, they described that in all of the interviews they had been at, the convocations and stuff. But, like, they hadn't really spelled out a lot of the differences in the other powers. You know what I mean? Like the Wolverine jump claw thing, which was really cool. Captain America's very spammable thrown shield, which was really cool. Like, there was a lot of really cool depth to just the characters themselves that I think is very awesome.
Yeah, I don't think we have anything to worry about with the concerns that you have there. Because, I mean, at the same time, like, it is the demo that they still don't have a release date for, which is, I would have thought that the release date would have been at the end of the demo or something like at this point, because they've been working on this game for like they've been working on this game for a hot minute, and you know, I'm gonna give you guys your time, but you also have released a demo and have been like, oh, we're right there. Like, it's almost as bad as giving us a release date and then saying no. But, like, I am wondering how much longer this really needs in the oven at this point. But at the same time, I'm not sure how in depth this system goes and everything.
Just given what we saw with Turtles, I think we're probably going to get either a November or December release date, and we're going to get it pretty soon. Probably with the final trailer, which will be the last two characters, which everybody is saying is going to be Iron Man and I can't remember the other one. So I think we'll see that soon. I don't think they would have put the demo out if they weren't close. You know what I mean? Like not in this space, maybe for a AAA space, but not in this space.
Yeah.
So yeah, I definitely want to see it soon. I don't necessarily have any concern. I think the game's going to be great. It's just, again, I was also spoiled on Absalom's demo. Absalom's demo has an entire playable island, and you have to find the second character in there, and there's all the narrative. There's a lot of narrative stuff in that first one, you know. I put 20 hours into Absalom's demo before that game even came out. There's not 20 hours to put into this demo. It's 2 levels. It's X amount of characters. Play all those characters, and then you're done. You know what I mean? So, like, I think that's a lot of the difference there, is that I wanted a little bit more from the demo. Does that make sense? Like, I wanted to see a little bit more of what it's going to be. But aside from that, I think it'll be great. I think it'll be an awesome game, and I'm excited for it. But
yes.
Do you want to wrap it up here?
Yeah.
All right, we're going to take a quick break, then we'll go with the Pluggaroos.
Horrible Gaming Podcast.
Ladies and gentlemen, that brings us to the end of the show and the shameless self-promotion that comes with it. Neil, would you like to plug anything?
Yeah, so we are have we announced what happened with the last batch of
Yes. Okay. I explained it on the last podcast.
You did? Okay.
We recorded 2 BG3L3 episodes. Unfortunately, computers be computering, and while there was a different program that randomly muted things, now OBS does it sometimes. And for whatever reason, you cannot, like, I'm muted the entire time. It did not recognize my mic. It, like, reset. So, like, the only people you could hear was Neil and Kayla, not me. So we could not post them, obviously. There is just so much lost in context there. So that's why there hasn't been an episode. We have to schedule a new time to record. I am probably going to ask Neil about that as soon as the show is done. So hopefully we'll have some new episodes out in the next week or two. But that show isn't canceled or anything like that. It just, we had a batch go to shit. And I'll just let everybody know, it wasn't a good batch. It was funny. Like, it was a very funny couple of episodes, but we accomplished almost nothing. I think we got murdered.
Yeah, no.
We got repeatedly murdered. Neil saved us by running away. I stole money from Withers for like a half an hour.
Yes.
And then we did the inn. And I think that's all the progression we really accomplished.
That really was it. We really did not do anything. In fact, I think we even made a joke about how little we did when we were recording it. So
the only thing that bums me out.
Miss anything.
The only thing that bums me out is there's this like 10-minute period where Neil dropped out of the call and we couldn't get Neil back in, and me and Kayla just sit there and make funny comments about the guys trying to put out the fire in the inn while we're standing there. And like, you weren't in the call, you were trying to get back into the game, and it was like 10 fucking minutes of us just like, where is he pouring that water? Could you imagine them just looking at us standing there watching them trying to put the fire out, not doing anything? Like, that was very funny that I wish we had. But we're gonna record some more episodes. Those will be out soon. Definitely. And then as far as Ordo goes, because I know you're going to talk about that, we should be setting that up to record soon. I wouldn't expect those until later on in this year, maybe even early next year, just because I like to record an entire season before we put that stuff out, and we are just finishing up Dual Bastards now. So yeah. So I stole all your time, so I guess I'll go now. Great, go me. Obviously, we do this podcast on the TTRPG side. Dual Bastards is coming out right now, which I'm very proud of. It is a very interesting actual play with a lot of focus on it, though the next 2 episodes have shitty audio. Bear with me. You don't come here for quality. And then other than that, I did 2 previews that I'd love you guys to check out. One's Cosmic Invasion. The other is Mad King Redemption. Please check that one out. That game looks... I had a lot of fun with that demo. That was one we should have talked about on this one too. Because I don't know if you ended up actually playing it.
Did not get to download it. I forgot about that.
Well, I'll let you download it then. We can talk about it next week. And then the review for Absalom is up. And if you watch this podcast, you basically know what I'm going to say. But yeah. Also, music is amazing. Mick Gordon does a track on it, Neil. Mick Gordon does a track on it.
I'm immediately reinvested. Who? Which game again?
Absalom.
Really?
He does the Under King boss fight. Yeah, I'll send you a copy of the boss fight, like the clip. It's so good. All right, guys. Other than that, you can join our Discord. Links in the description below. Influence us in all of our shows from there. And as long as you keep watching and listening, we will keep making them. We will see you guys next time.